Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse, and you're watching Now You Know.
And this is Tesla Time News. So, first story to start off with, I think, should be the Mercedes just announced at the Paris Motor Show just a couple days ago their new entry into electric vehicles, which is pretty exciting. I am pretty impressed by the car. It's called the Generation EQ. They said that EQ stands for Electric Intelligence. And not only are they going to make this car, but they also announced that they're going to be making charging stations, home chargers, and home battery packs. Does that sound familiar to you?
It does sound familiar.
I think they just took a page book out of the Tesla page book, but that's fine.
Yeah.
It's going to be a two-motor car, front and back, with a 300 kilowatt energy motors in total.
So this isn't the battery pack you're talking about?
No, this is the motor. Sorry, yeah, the motors are going to be able to give 300 kilowatt power.
Interesting.
To give that some comparison, I think a Leaf is around 50 kilowatt motor. So these are pretty powerful motors. It'll go 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. Their batteries are going to be made by Mercedes Daimler in Germany at their Kamenz, Germany, $500 million new plant. So they're making their own batteries.
Okay.
You're seeing a picture of it now. It's pretty cool. It'll have a range of up to 310 miles. That's their claimed miles. So obviously it's less if you do the whole EPA. But that's if you buy their biggest battery pack, which will be a 70 kilowatt hour battery. The starting price will be for a smaller battery pack. The starting price will be around $55,000.
Okay.
It has a really cool 24-inch by like 5-inch screen where all the data is displayed and stuff. It will have autonomous driving, I guess, on some of the levels if you buy the expensive levels, and driver assist. And they say they're close to production. So that means, I don't know what that means, but at least this isn't like 2020. So
yeah,
we're
that's
talking.
true. So I have a question. So what about supercharging?
Well, it'll use CCS, which is fast charging. It'll also allow you to do wireless induction. So you could pull it into your garage and have that induction charge it without having to plug it in. Very Mercedes-ish. Not as fast, again, as a supercharger, but they say that eventually they'd like to get up to 300 kilowatt charging.
Yeah. I took a look at the front of it, and it sort of has this like LED grill on the front, or like neon looking,
blue,
everything about it is like glowy blue, which is a neat aesthetic, but I think that the front having this like fake grill kind of looks a little ridiculous, and I think we're going to look back on it and kind of laugh at how.
I think it's a good looking car.
I mean, it is, but I don't know. I don't actually think that.
Okay, I like it. All right, what do you got?
So there's a guy, his name is Luke Workman. He's a highly regarded battery designer.
Okay.
He thinks that we could make battery-powered aircraft. So it's kind of an interesting idea.
Well, we already have that, right? They've flown around the world in a battery-powered.
True, battery and solar-powered aircraft, but this would be more like a Tesla kind of like plane. It's his envisionment.
Like a little jet? Or a big,
it would be a
commercial airliner?
He's thinking that it would be something like a supersonic. So I mean, so here's his idea. His idea is that most of a battery, most of the weight, 35% of it, is wasted. It's it's all the casing and the two ends that you connect stuff to, and they said that's a huge waste.
Okay.
And so if you were to fill a plane with that, 35% of the weight
isn't doing it.
Is doing nothing.
Okay.
So what he's suggesting is taking the whole wing, the whole airplane wing, and sort of having a bunch of different layers, because each battery has a bunch of different layers of different materials,
right.
Copper and aluminum, all sorts of stuff like that. So the whole wing would be a battery.
Oh, cool idea.
I was reading the comments of this article, and a lot of people were saying like, but what if, there's no strength there? And it's like, well, yes, but in a normal jetliner, the wing is mostly full of fuel anyway. Basically, the aluminum on the top and bottom of the wing
is
where the strength is. On the top and bottom of the inside of the wing, so there's all this battery in the middle, then at the top and bottom you'd have sort of an anode and cathode. That would be carrying the electricity back and powering it to the motors, but the outside of the plane would have its own aluminum casing.
Okay.
So it would be, it wouldn't be conductive to the outside. Like if you touch both ends, you wouldn't kill yourself.
So his premise is that we could possibly in the future have electric planes.
Right. So he's thinking that it would be some kind of supersonic kind of electric plane. I mean, I don't know how you would power that.
Like what do the jets become? They're not jets anymore.
Right. It would have to be some kind of electric something. So I mean, I don't.
That's a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah. So I think it brings up a lot of good questions, but it doesn't answer a lot of them.
Great. I'm excited.
Definitely interesting.
Yeah, bold
Food for
future.
thought.
All right, our next story is a Tesla story for sure. Tesla just announced as of tonight that their deliveries for third quarter are record-breaking, 24,500 vehicles in the last quarter. And that doesn't include 5,500 vehicles which are in transit all over the world going to their owners. So that is up 37% from the last quarter in production and up 70% in deliveries from last quarter. That's 15,800 Model S's, 8,700 Model X's in the last quarter.
Wow.
That's the most Model X's produced in a quarter yet. So this is all good news. So if you're, looking at Tesla stock and stuff, you should be seeing a bump this week, I would think, because they're showing that they really are ramping up production. Just to give you some idea, Tesla is producing about 100,000 vehicles a year now. That is 5 times more than it was just 3 years ago.
Wow.
And Elon's been talking about how he wants to get to 500,000 cars, which is another 5 times bump, and he wants to do that in 2 years. Now, that doesn't sound so unreasonable anymore to me, because if they were able to do a 5-time bump in 3 years, and now that they've got the factory and they figured a lot of stuff out, to do another 5 times bump in 2 years, to me, now that they've learned so much from the S and the X, to do it with the Model 3, which to me is a much simpler car than the X. Let me tell you that. The X is a complicated car.
That's true.
There's motors on everything in the car. The Model 3 is not going to be as complicated.
True.
I think they can do it.
Okay.
So let's see if they can.
That's great.
All right, what you got?
There's a company that is starting electric cars. It's called Activia. They're on their 3rd version of their drivetrain. They put it in this van, like a utility van.
And they smoked people.
And so this is a real sleeper. It looks like a regular utility van. It goes 0 to 60 in 2.74 seconds.
That's awesome.
So they invited a bunch of electric and non-electric cars to come race them. They smoked everything but the Model S.
Yeah, link to the video below, because it's just fun to see a van
crazy
beat a Ferrari.
Right. So it's got 900 horsepower, and basically what they're thinking is that their car is going to be a sedan, so it's not going to be a van. So they're thinking with the weight that you're going to be taking off of it and the aerodynamics that you'll be adding to it, that it could be in line for the throne of the fastest electric car, the quickest.
This great that what Tesla has done. I mean, we're hearing this story after story. Porsche, Mercedes, Activia, all these companies are following suit because Tesla led the way. And I'm not upset about it at all. This is exactly what Elon wanted. He wanted companies to start getting into this arena, and they are. And if they smoke a Tesla, awesome. That's great. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear that there's engineers out there pushing the boundaries of electric cars, because as we keep doing this, more and more people are going to see that electric cars are a great answer.
I think also the interesting thing is that we pretty much measure every company that's trying to do this to Tesla.
Yeah, exactly.
And that they are so close sometimes, but they almost always fall short. So I mean, it's kind of interesting how Tesla is just so good in so many ways. Like they've got the quickest car, which also has the longest range, which also has all sorts of benefits and stuff like that. So it's awesome to see that.
It is great. I mean, I was talking to someone today about the Bolt again, and they were mentioning, oh, it'll have a range like a Tesla. I'm like, but it's not going to have the autopilot like the Tesla.
Right.
So yeah, you're right. You always measure to the Tesla. Here's another Tesla story. This is about a company that took a Tesla and turned it into basically a taxi service. So this company is called Tesloop, and they are based out of LA, and they drive from LA to Las Vegas, and that is their taxi service. So you want to go there, want to go to LA, or you want to go to Las Vegas, you hop in a Tesla, they drive you. Awesome for the company and for the rider, because they get to use the supercharger network, so they drive without having to use electricity off of anything but Tesla.
Wow.
They've driven their first car 200,000 miles. So this is one of the first S's that anyone knows of that's gone that many miles.
Wow.
And guess what kind of maintenance it's needed?
I mean, the regular car, you'd have to, probably the exhaust system would have rusted out, the brakes definitely would have gone several times, oil changes,
probably a new head gasket, and a crankshaft, and a this and a that, right?
Right.
Well, this car, a 12-volt battery needed to be replaced, and that's not the battery pack. That's just Teslas have a 12-volt battery to power like the door locks and some of the electronics, and the tires.
Wow. What about the brakes?
Nope, they haven't changed the brakes yet. I thought they had, but I went back and checked. They have not changed the brakes.
They haven't even changed the brakes. No. 200,000 miles.
200,000 miles. And the battery degradation, and this is from a car that they usually charge to full, which is not what you are recommended to do. They charge it to full to save 3 minutes when they get to Barstow. So when they get to Barstow, they have to charge at a supercharger, and they've learned that if they charge to full, then when they get to Barstow, they save 3 minutes on the supercharging, and they want to do that for their customers. So they said, you know what, we'll just charge to full in LA or in Las Vegas.
Okay.
So they've done kind of the wrong thing that you should do, and after 200,000 miles, they've only had 6% battery degradation. So, I mean, this is a car that's driven through the desert temperatures, sand, dust, all that stuff, driving crazy speeds, and this is all they've seen in terms of maintenance. Basically Zippo.
Wow, so it's really held up.
It's really held up.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, and our last story is a story out of the Netherlands. The energy company called Eneco. They came up with this great idea, which is if you take a bunch of the Tesla Powerwalls, and you make a deal with the people who own them, and you put some software in there that allows them to take power when they want to, then you don't need to build an additional power plant to handle what's called peak power. A lot of these peak power plants get built so that when, at a certain time of the day when everyone's turning on air conditioning or lights, these peak power plants have to turn on to fill the void, right? Well, what their deal is, they say to about 400 Tesla Powerwall owners, let us take about 30% of your power when we need it. We will give you a reduced price on the Powerwall. So instead of having to pay 7,000 euros for a Powerwall, you only have to pay 4,900 euros. And we will pay you 450 euros a year for at least 5 years if you let us steal some of your power whenever we need it.
Wow.
So if you live in the Netherlands, look into this because you could be part of this program. It's for people with rooftop systems. And you know what's cool about the Netherlands?
What?
There's already 400,000 people in the Netherlands with rooftop solar.
How many people are in the Netherlands?
I don't know. I just know that 400,000 rooftop solar systems are already in the Netherlands.
That's amazing.
A tiny little country.
I know.
Already doing the right thing.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it's called CrowdNet, and basically they will take a little bit of your power when they need it to help the whole system not have to build a power plant.
Wow.
It's like a win-win.
That is
we could do that here.
We could do that here.
Yeah. More cool stories happening this week. I'm really excited to be able to do this with Jesse every week. Thank you so much for watching. If you have ideas for stories, things that we haven't covered, things you'd like us to cover, comment below. We'd love to get to them.
Absolutely. Also, by the way, we're on the couch because I just got back from Maker Faire, World Maker Faire down in New York. Went down with a couple of friends.
Came back with lots of cool stickers.
A lot of stickers.
Cool things made out of plastic.
Met Grant Imahara, so definitely stay tuned for that video. Got a lot of great footage from down there.
Yeah, he got a lot of footage. That's going to take a while to edit.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right.
Thanks for watching.